The off-season was supposed to be quiet. A stretch of calm before the noise returned, a moment of breath between the turbulence of her rookie year and the hope of what came next. But for Caitlin Clark, silence has never lasted long. And this time, the stillness shattered the moment a single video flickered across screens worldwide. It wasn't a press conference. It wasn't a leaked report. It wasn't even an official announcement from the Indiana Fever. It was just a Nike commercial. A 30-second cinematic whisper. And yet, it was enough to set the entire sports world on fire. It began almost like a memory. An empty gym. Shadows stretching across the hardwood like the remnants of something unfinished. The faint echo of a basketball bouncing in the distance, almost out of reach, as if replaying the last moment she stepped on a court before everything paused. Then the camera panned through the darkness, cutting through the room with a narrow beam of light, and out of that light stepped Caitlin Clark. Head down. Shoulders squared. Silent. Focused. No smile. No narration. No words needed. Fans didn't just see an athlete on screen. They saw intent. They saw purpose. They saw a message written between the shadows and the spotlight. And when the words "unfinished business" appeared, pulsing across the frame, the entire internet exploded with one question. Is this her return? For months nobody knew. Every update from the Fever had been carefully measured, every detail about her rehab kept under lock and key. Rumors swirled, theories spread, but facts remained scarce. It felt as though the entire basketball world had been holding its breath, waiting for a sign, any sign, that Caitlin Clark was ready to rise again. And then, without warning, Nike gave them one. But this wasn't just an ad. It wasn't just a marketing tactic. It was a message crafted with precision, timing, and power. Because the truth behind the clip was deeper than the dramatic lighting or the slow-motion laces tightening around a pair of sneakers. Behind that cinematic tease was a story of recovery, reflection, and a rising force that refuses to fade quietly into the background. In the weeks leading up to the commercial, insiders close to Clark hinted that she had never truly stopped working. Even through injury and exhaustion, she was still in the gym, still pushing, still grinding when cameras weren't watching. But this time, her coaches insisted on something she had always struggled to embrace: rest. Real rest. The kind that heals instead of hides. The kind that rebuilds instead of burns. Caitlin Clark has always been a relentless competitor. She doesn't know half speed. She doesn't take days off because she doesn't know how to stand still. She pushes because she believes she should. She pushes because people expect her to. She pushes because it's all she's ever done. But this season forced her to see the danger in that drive. Her body finally demanded what her mind always ignored. She needed to stop. And, for the first time in her career, she actually listened. She shifted from constant motion to controlled intensity. From endless repetition to intentional precision. Her workouts became shorter but sharper, her drills more focused, her therapy sessions closer to ritual. She trained not to prove something to the world, but to rebuild the version of herself she knew she could be. A smarter player. A stronger leader. A competitor who understood that longevity mattered more than momentary praise. And in that process, something changed. Those who saw her behind the scenes described a calmer Caitlin Clark. A player who didn't look rushed or restless but grounded. Someone who no longer felt the weight of every headline or comment section, because she had finally stepped outside the noise and rediscovered the quiet strength beneath it. The Nike ad captured that transformation perfectly. It wasn't the explosive, fiery athlete fans were used to watching drain 30-foot threes and shatter records. It showed a deeper, quieter power. A woman rebuilding herself not for the spotlight, but for the long road ahead. And fans felt that instantly. Within minutes of the commercial dropping, social media became a living storm. The hashtag unfinished business shot up the trending charts. Screenshots, freeze-frame breakdowns, theory threads, and slow-motion edits flooded Twitter and Instagram. Fans analyzed every detail of the video like detectives solving a mystery. Some spotted what looked like fever-red lighting in the background. Others noticed new sneaker prototypes, convinced they were an early preview of the first Caitlin Clark signature line. Even the way she taped her wrist became a point of obsession among her supporters. And then the players noticed. Angel Reese reposted the commercial with nothing but a fire emoji. Kelsey Mitchell wrote the word "soon." Other WNBA stars shared the clip with cryptic comments, subtle hints, or silent support. The league was buzzing. The media was scrambling. Fans were losing their minds. Everyone had an opinion, but no one had confirmation. And the Fever, strangely, said nothing at all. Their silence was louder than any statement they could have made. It felt intentional, purposeful, strategic. Something was happening behind the scenes, something too big to leak casually on social media. Reporters began pressing for answers, but every response from the organization was vague, polished, and clearly rehearsed. Caitlyn is progressing well. We're following her program. No official updates at this time. It was corporate silence at its sharpest. But silence in sports is never empty. It's a sign of strategy. A sign that plans are unfolding behind closed doors. A sign that something monumental is being prepared. And with Nike firing the first shot, everyone knew the Fever's announcement, whenever it came, would be the spark that lit the next chapter of her career. Because here's the truth, Caitlyn Clark doesn't just return to basketball. She reshapes it. Her presence alters everything. Ticket sales spike. TV ratings rise. Opposing arenas sell out. Merchandise disappears from shelves. Networks adjust coverage. Marketing teams shift budgets. The league itself reorients its season around the gravitational pull of one of the most compelling athletes in modern sports. Her impact isn't theoretical. It's measurable. It's financial. It's cultural. It's global. Nike knew that. That's why the commercial wasn't flashy or overproduced. It didn't need to be. The power wasn't in the visuals. It was in the symbolism. The message. The timing. The understanding that Caitlyn Clark doesn't need volume to make noise. Her silence is loud enough. And so the ad leaned into minimalism. Grit instead of glamour. Resilience instead of dominance. Stillness instead of spectacle. It echoed the same emotional beats that define some of Nike's most legendary campaigns. Michael Jordan's return, Kobe Bryant's redemption, LeBron James' homecoming. The kind of storytelling that defines eras in sports. Because Nike wasn't just teasing a season. They were beginning a legacy. Fans felt it. Analysts felt it. The league felt it. Everyone sensed the shift. Something was building, something that went beyond basketball. Something that hinted at evolution. Visibility. Growth. A moment that could elevate the WNBA into a new era. And all of it started with a simple commercial starring a silent, determined young woman walking into a dimly lit gym. But what makes this moment even more powerful is the emotional core behind it. Because Caitlyn Clark's journey